So I'm bringing up to the stage now, it came from Michigan and went to Staten Island, Mr. Rick Patrick.
In January of '98, I started art school. And this was a long list of hurdles I had to get to have that event. I knew when I was 4 I was going to be an artist, and I said so. And so my father had all these hurdles to see to it that one day I'd figure out art school had no benefit. I'll sum it up very quickly. It goes like this. I'm stepping into school. It's the first day of kindergarten. My father puts his hand on my shoulder. Son, today you're 4 years old. You're entering kindergarten. In the springtime when you come out, you will be 5. At that time, your childhood will be officially over, and you will join the working class. If you do not have a job by then, when one will be provided for you, I suggest you have a good time. It happened. I had to get a degree in business management, accounting, with a minor in legal studies and tax law before I could go to art school. So I worked from the age of 5 to 21, and I went to art school. And it was January, and it was for some funny mix of numbers, half the painting department was new as opposed to slow students over time. So the painting teachers thought, let's get all the students in the main studio and have them sit in a circle and introduce themselves. And sitting across the circle is this kid, looks just like me. 6 foot, blonde hair, blue eyed. Comes around like that, and the teacher says, you're going to say your name and where you're from. It's around him, and he goes, hi, my name's Craig. I'm from Shawnee Mission, Kansas. My dad's an electrician. My mom died when I was 2. And I decided when I was 4 I was always coloring and painting, and I could talk to her, so I decided then I was going to be an artist. And that's pretty cool. A few days later, I've only been here 2 days, I find out Craig's one of the most popular boys in school. And we're in the same painting class. Now Craig it's the 70s. He's dating the most beautiful and sophisticated girl in the senior class. He's dating the girl that's the freshman little sexy tart that has sex with everybody. And he's dating this guy named Nick from the sculpture department. That's kind of a job. He brought all 3 to the spring prom.
Nice!
Craig was exploding, as we all went to go to art school. I wanted to do the same. Well, one night we're sitting and we're on our backs in the main thing, and we're on mushrooms. And Craig is saying, I'm the youngest of 10 kids. And my mom died, and I remember all my extended family, my grandma, my sisters, my aunts and uncles, all to make sure that I turned into a really good Catholic boy. And it just seemed wrong, because why would God take my mom away? Why would that happen? But when I draw and paint, I'm just so happy that I don't care about all that. But when I was 6, I just told all of them, okay, I believe it, just to get them off my backs. Did I do something wrong? And I said, what do you think? He says, I don't know, I'm here, I'm drawing, I'm painting, maybe I'm doing fine. Well, in the next 2 years, we all, migrate to New York. In the meantime, I went home to my alma mater, went to a party, met one of our cheerleaders, we fell in love, and we moved to New York, and a few months later, Craig comes, he moves in with us, and he gets a job as an electrician, because his dad was an electrician. And he gets his own apartment, and a bit later he's dating the electrician's daughter named Angie, and they're from Staten Island.
Yeah.
And she comes from a really large Catholic family with the grandma. And they fall in love, and they're going to get married. And Craig has got these aunts and uncles of her now wanting him to become a good Catholic boy and marry their Angie. And he says, Rick, this is unbelievable. The grandma's just taken over my life and all this. I just can't believe they're buying us a house down the street. And, Angie's making $30,000 a month on Wall Street. This is the late 80s. She's really doing good. And life is good for them. And the mom comes up and says, well, we don't like all of Craig's friends. And so we're going to, we're going to have one table of 10, and the other 14 are going to be for Angie and family at the wedding. So Craig said, I really need you guys to come because you're some of my really dear friends, but you're also odd. And so my cheerleaders is a boy. That's my school, they were all boys. And so we were a gay couple for Craig to have at the party. And we come, and we're sitting there, and the grandma's not happy that we're there. And she's, the whole time, she's giving us this the language of the eyebrows. And we don't care. It's 1987, I think, 88. And people, so-and-so isn't happy about this, like, well, this is Craig's wedding, we're Craig's family, and so on. But that just passed. A couple years later, they had a beautiful girl. A few years later, a little boy. And Craig was happy. He had children, a life, a career. He was starting to paint again. And then their son got cystic fibrosis. And the bills were mounting in the Wall Street crash of the late 80s. And Angie doesn't have a job, and they move into the parents' house. And things are getting worse and worse and worse. And then the boy died. He's 5 years old. And I'm at my house in Michigan in the garden. Craig calls crying, and he says, Rick, Clay died, and I need you to be here. And I said, well, Craig, I can't. And so I called Patrick, my partner. And he ran around the house and gathered origami paper and crayons and watercolors and Legos and threw them into paper bags because he knew Angie's family. We knew Angie's family. It was a huge, extensive family. And he came to the funeral, and it was at the back of a church here on Staten Island. And Adelaide, the older sister, was sitting in the back staring into space, and he came up and they started doing origami. And another child came, and another child came, and another about 10 minutes. There's a good 30 children on the floor at this funeral, being busy, being children, being creative. And the grandmother came up to Patrick and she said, I have to rethink how I treat people. All of us are here in our adult minds mourning the loss of a child, and no one bothered to think about the ones that are still living. Thank you. And she hugged him. And it was a great moment for Staten Island in my life, because no one was ever mean, but it was like, someone's not comfortable with you, but now we are. There was like, we can change, we can be open, life is good. And that's my experience with Staten Island. Thank you very much.